Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs, welcome back to another Doctor Who news video. Today we've got a pretty exciting topic to discuss. It appears that on the horizon of the current Whoniverse we have our first full Doctor Who spin-off. I guess you could kind of say that the Tales of the TARDIS was our first spin-off, but this is our first sort of spin-off in a way that we'd expect, rather than it being like a nice start and bookend to classic Who episodes. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adored Tales of the TARDIS, but this is the real deal. It's not just like a nice extra, this is our first potential spin-off. It's yet to be officially announced by the BBC, but it has been rumoured for quite a few months. I think I did make a video on these alleged leaks and rumours back when they were surfacing, I think around 6 or 7 months ago. Today it was pointed out over on X/Twitter, if you're gonna use its real name. I'm not calling it X, no. By Doctor Who Production News that the spin-off is happening, and they then have this link and screenshot to this website. Now I believe this is the same source that initially confirmed that Whoniverse Ltd, Whoniverse Limited, was actually set up, I think about 2 years ago, so wherever they've got this from is a reliable place, is a trustworthy source. But what does it actually say? Well, it says, as of the 26th of December 2023, so this has been happening since like Boxing Day, the war between the land and the sea is officially in development and in pre-production. So for those of you who don't know what that means, that's planning and getting all the sets, costumes, props, scripts finalised, all that jazz, the casting, all of that's going to be happening up until March 4th, 2024, which is almost exactly 3 months, no, 2 months, 2 or 3 months from today, because that's when they begin shooting in, surprise, surprise, Cardiff, Wales. Now, so far, what about that screams Doctor Who? Well, 1, this title was allegedly leaked for a Doctor Who spin-off, and 2, they just go and confirm it right underneath. A project summary states that this is a spin-off of the fantasy action saga Doctor Who that will feature the Sea Devils. Ooh, the Sea Devils. I mean, I remember being really excited this time about 2 or 3 years ago when we got the teaser trailer for Legend of the Sea Devils.
The biggest news at the moment, the Sea Devils are officially back.
Looks like the things out of Star Wars.
Really something, a bit gross.
They're pretty cool, I like their ears. I assume those are ears.
Why do they have fins on their head? Do they like swim?
To glide.
I mean, the necklace is cool.
I mean, they look interesting.
No, it looks like the Chihuahua meme.
I don't hate the episode as much as the rest of the internet seems to, but the Legend of the Sea Devils was somewhat underwhelming, and especially a somewhat underwhelming return for such an iconic Doctor Who villain. Like, there's so many people you talk to who are like classic era fans that said one of their defining childhood moments was the Sea Devils emerging from the water, and I would love to see Russell T Davies writing Sea Devils. I think he could do the monsters justice. Like, he takes that sort of everyday Earth vibe and turns it alien and weird. What I do also think is quite interesting is that it spin-off of the fantasy action saga Doctor Who. Is that what Doctor Who falls under now? Fantasy action? I mean, I definitely say fantasy action is the genre that the Church on Ruby Road falls under, so is that tone going to be kept going forward? Russell has talked in commentaries about how the Toymaker's appearance and the 14th Doctor casting salt at the edge of the universe is going to lead to more fantasy and more otherworldly, not stereotypical sci-fi type things. And I suppose Sea Devils are quite fantasy-like creatures. They're still the hardcore sci-fi Doctor Who's always had, but the design and the look of them does lend itself to a fantasy genre, which I think is quite interesting. Now, if we look down here, the cast and crew, Phil Collinson, surprise, surprise, the producer of Doctor Who, and Vicky Dello, another producer of Doctor Who, are also producing this. Julie Gardner, Jane Tranter, all of their names are also here, and it's allegedly reportedly going to be written by Russell T Davies. Whether that means he's writing the whole series, or just maybe the first episode or the last episode, kind of like how he oversaw Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures back in his original run, maybe he's taking on a more show-running approach. However much involvement Russell has, I'm very, very excited and intrigued for this project. I've been saying for so long, I mean, here it just confirms the return of the Sea Devils, but I've been saying for donkey's years. I mean, I even made a really, really terrible fan film back about 5 or 6 years ago where the Sea Devils, Silurians and humans all have a sort of a war for the planet. Because, I mean, all three of these species in the Doctor Who universe have a claim to the Earth, so it makes sense that they'd all sort of fight for it if there was a reason they were all woken up, and I think that could be the kind of vibe that we're getting from this, because there's been so many rumours about a UNIT spin-off, and I'd imagine that this is that UNIT spin-off, but sort of changed up a bit. Maybe this was an episode of the UNIT spin-off that they've turned into like a 6-part mini-drama, rather than individual episodes of the UNIT spin-off featuring a different alien each week. It does make sense to do sort of one nice overarching 6-part epic, which I'd be down. I'd be really excited for that. And as I say, concept, humans versus Sea Devils versus Silurians, maybe the Sea Devils and Silurians team up, but let's not do it like the way that classic Who did it. So it's kind of confirmed that this spin-off's happening, but what characters can we expect to see within this spin-off? If I'm right in thinking that this is the UNIT spin-off heavily focused on UNIT idea, that probably means we're going to follow Kate Stewart as a possible central human character. Maybe there'll be a central Sea Devil character as well, but it's kind of a given if this does feature UNIT, we're going to get Kate, Mel, Colonel Ibrahim, who we met in The Giggle, and probably whatever the hell the Vlinx is, because that robot just sort of cropped up in the 60th and was never really explained, but I think UNIT, yeah, he'll be like a side character. So those are the sort of confirmed UNIT team of the new era. But could this lend itself to bringing back the 14th Doctor and Donna? Now, I know that's going to set off a lot of alarm bells in people's heads, including mine, because David Tennant's Doctor is on Earth with Donna and her family. Donna is reportedly getting a job at UNIT. I mean, she says in The Giggle, oh, what's the paycheck, blah, 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 blah. So we can only assume that Donna's gone to work on at UNIT. We know that Rose Noble makes an appearance in the new Ncuti Gatwa era, so the Noble family are tied to UNIT. Could we see an appearance of the 14th Doctor? Possibly. I mean, I don't think he'd be a main character, but maybe in the finale of the series, but would that be a good idea? One thing it would definitely do is bring in a load of audience people, like viewing figures would shoot up, it would do great for Disney+, great for the Whoniverse, but would it do well for the show, and would it lead down this rabbit hole of nostalgia bait and never being able to let go of David Tennant? I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comments. The other people we could see, though, are people like Martha Jones, who I think there's a very high chance, if Russell is doing a spin-off series about an Earth-based sort of alien invasion, I know they're not technically aliens, but you know what I mean, alien invasion, Martha is prime candidate to make a return to working for UNIT alongside Kate Stewart to help her defend the Earth, start peace talks. She already did a similar thing with the Hath back in Series 4, so Martha's experienced, Martha knows her stuff. And then obviously you've got people like Ace and Tegan and all of the other companions, even Graham, who were at the companions sort of meeting thing at the end of Power of the Doctor. Any of them could crop up. Those are my theories and thoughts on this Doctor Who spin-off, which is going to start shooting on the 4th of March this year. I have no idea when it will actually air, probably maybe the end of the year or start of next year. Maybe like seasons of the show, they're stocking up on spin-offs so that they're all ready to release in one big go in a couple of years' time. But as ever, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I really do appreciate all your support. Make sure to subscribe, like, etc. Goodbye.